Blessings, my dears, in love and light. Another timeline without the Illuminati. I feel like, in fact I know, and it's up to you whether you choose to believe me, that I have access to another timeline where I am existing there. My consciousness is projected into that timeline. Now our consciousnesses are projected into many different timelines, and when we go over, they merge into one being and we have experience of all these different timelines. But I feel I have access to one in particular in which I am myself, but a vastly different timeline. And I feel like myself in that timeline knows that I exist in this one and knows what it is like and is communicating with me for a reason. And it's showing me a different world, a vastly different world, same world, but very different. I feel like the timeline we're in is a highly probable timeline, and that timeline is less likely, and yet it does exist. And I feel like another reason for this communication is that this timeline can be changed. It can go down a very similar route, not so far ahead, sort of back in time if you will, and not so advanced so quick, but it can go down that route, and that events in our near future now are going to dictate whether we take such a route. I feel like we're at a turning point where there are those fighting to liberate this planet at this time, and that very soon the timelines are going to split, and that either they will be successful or they won't at liberating our planet from the clutches of this satanic mafia that has hold of it at this time. Now if we go down the positive route, I feel like it will be like this other timeline I'm seeing where this did not occur, where the planet has been liberated for 1,000 years and things are very different, and I want to describe it to you. Now I get clairvoyant flashes of this and I get a sense of knowing, and it feels like when I experience something in this reality, it feels like it's not supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be like this. It would be much better if everyone could see if it was like this, because we are all so used to how things are as they are, and most people cannot see how things could be. Now, I don't watch channelers too much. I read books and things, but I don't watch too many other channelers or anything like that. So if what I say differs from them, I apologise, and take from this what you will. This is just one timeline I'm seeing from the point of view of myself in that time and space. Okay, so I feel like we're in the dark ages. We've been kept in the dark ages. It's like being in the 60s, if you will, perpetually in the 60s, except we have been given smartphones and tablets, whereas this is far from where we should be technologically. Life should have moved on far by now. So I'll go through the points quickly. Energy suppression. So many of us believe that free energy is suppressed and we're stuck using oil and gas because it makes a lot of billionaires, but that should have gone a long time ago, and that we should be using free energy by now. And what that means is that we can literally do anything. It will liberate us to go out into the universe, and there's no cars or vehicles. They're not needed, because you can step into, this sounds bonkers, but you can step into like on Star Trek, a transporter, and just go wherever you want on the planet. Kind of limited to this planet, but you can get into it and go wherever you want at any time. So it's sort of shrunk travel, so that anything car-wise or cycling, nothing like that is really needed apart from recreational-wise. But then travel outside of this planet, like the film Stargate, those stargates, and that we have been given the technology to go off into the universe by like folding space-time. So you don't need to worry about travelling fast than the speed of light or travelling fast. You literally just go there. And this is controlled by thought as well. And you don't have to physically go somewhere. You can physically go somewhere via thought and create a manifestation of a part of yourself and be there as well. As well as that, we are taught to use our third eye, and it's not suppressed. Now imagine how very different that would be. So we can move objects with our minds freely. There's no more barriers in thought. Everything is known. So even though your mind is your own, everything is shared. All this is going along with this ascension, with our consciousness has been raising. Now our consciousness was allowed to raise quicker, and it's been suppressed in this timeline. So we're already much further, and it's in harmony with Earth, which is trying to raise. The vibration is raising, but we have gone along with it in total harmony. And so therefore that transition is further along, and our spiritual abilities have all come out, and everyone's aware of them. And it's not just silly stories. Everyone's aware. It's a part of life. Therefore, there is an education system, and it's not just meditation and things that's taught, but literally how to get a handle on your reality. It's not all algebra, sitting in a classroom learning maths and language. Language isn't actually so important because thoughts can be quickly conveyed in an instant through a sense of knowing. So language is kind of becoming obsolete, and not through technology but through mind to mind. But everyone is given the chance to explore their own abilities as they see fit, and there's no sort of set curriculum. They can explore whatever they want to do because learning is seen as a lifetime endeavour. So it's a school continues throughout your entire lifetime, as it were, as well as doing some kind of occupation, which again starts from a younger age. So you have some, I'm not talking about child labour, but the occupation runs alongside the learning, and it's all experience. So you'll go out on different jobs and things, jobs, but kind of like a spiritual apprentice, if you were. So if you were learning something about the natural world, a child would go out with a mentor into the mountains and learning from a young age, and there'll be things there to learn as well, like meditation and spiritual abilities. But every child would get to go on these different, there'd be no more stuck in classrooms. Then the children would get together and learn together, yes. So it would just be a complete overhaul of education. It would just be completely different, but it would last your whole life as well. In addition, we all think a lot more clearly. I don't think we realise that our consciousness is dumbed down to a degree by things like microwave radiation from Wi-Fi and phones, and the chemtrails and the stuff in the foods and things, and it all has an effect on our cognitive abilities. Now imagine that was all stripped away and you could think to your full potential, and fluoride and stuff. Then everyone goes up a grade in intelligence and consciousness anyway. It's freer to expand without that suppression. So everyone's cognitive abilities have improved, and everyone has the choice to do whatever they want. And every baby born has an equal share of the planet's resources and equal entitlement. There is no this person owns this ton of land and this person has zero. There's none of that, because the earth is for everyone, and that is realized. And there's it's not like a new world order. It's a world unification. There's no power at the top. It's all logically based, and everything's worked out based on need and prosperity. It's more of a logical computer system and those overseeing it, and there's no central government. It's a network across the planet where power is not centralized, because that's dangerous, and power is just a blanket across the entire planet. And everything is worked out, the distribution of resources and what everyone is doing. Yes, we are all tracked, which may seem odd to people, but in a good way, because there's no powers that be. It's everyone's collective power together. There's no leader, there's no dictator, there's no fake democracy. It's logically based, computerized, with a human touch as well, and there's no possibility of anyone seeking or gaining power over others. Now, many of us aren't even on the planet. Many of us are gone into exploring the universe, and their colonies everywhere, and that's what many people choose to do. They choose to go off planet, and then there are those who choose to stay. Yes, there's lots of extraterrestrial intelligences here. I see kind of like an airport, like a universal airport, but it's not really like that. Some beings need physical vehicles to come here, but others don't. They just come here by thought. There's lots of races permitted to be here. There's other races that are not permitted to be here because they have negative agendas. And there's other races that are helping us to progress and come more in line with others nearby. Ascension, as I said, has gone well, and sorry to all those meat eaters out there, but we don't eat other beings anymore, only plant matter, because we physically can't take it, and also the idea of eating other beings has become abhorrent to us. The current system is gone, and there's no money, and what we do because we want to do it, and because we want to support our communities locally, which do exist locally as well as globally. So we all have sort of tasks that we do to support the whole, which we sort of have to do, but it's not an all-week 9 to 5 type thing. It's more like a couple of days a week, and you may have someone who's in a scientific area also be doing something like distributing food, like a supermarket would, kind of thing, but you don't go there and buy it. So everyone takes on a more menial role, and they have their higher pursuits as well. In addition to that, there's plenty of days in the week freed up for recreational pursuits, which are very important, and exploring the planet, doing sporting activities and reading and learning. So it's a balance between supporting by doing some work in a supportive, maintaining type way, in a mind exploring type way, and a recreational type way. It's a perfect balance of that, which is how our consciousness is best designed to expand within. It's optimal for us to be able to expand, and therefore the expansion is exponential because the conditions are right. Aging has reduced. It's not eliminated, but there's technology to stop you from aging, something that you take. But we know that aging is a state of mind, and that state of mind is not so prevalent as with physical health. So the pharmaceutical industry is no more, because again there's no money and the power is gone in that area. So the billionaires aren't billionaires anymore, because no one is a billionaire. Everyone is equal, but not in line. I'm not talking like a communist sort of way, that there's some power in those structures. Everyone is equal. There's no billionaires anymore, so there's no profit to be made from pharmaceuticals, and pharmaceuticals are seen as not agreeing with the body, and that there are lots of other ways to heal the body that don't involve such invasive drugs and surgeries. And in fact, the key is found in nature in many ways. So it's all coming back to a very natural state. Not completely, there's still lots of man-made medicines, but it's not a competitive, profit-driven type industry. It is literally existing for the benefit of mankind only. So it's totally person-centered. It's nothing to do with profit anymore. So with mental health, the whole of the attitude of the whole of humanity has changed, because from the very, very beginning, everyone being given an equal chance, and there's actually parenting lessons that happen to help you not only to physically parent, but to raise a healthy-minded child, being emotionally supported, and therefore every kid doesn't end up a spoilt brat, but doesn't end up neglected or anything like that. It's a perfect balance in the middle. So things like crime or stealing or any kind of bad behaviour is eliminated, one, because the system has been eliminated and there's not the financial hierarchy and inequality, and two, because everyone's been mentally supported and given an equal chance and know their own good worth and value. So eliminating the system and financial and giving them the mental and emotional support. No one wants to commit any crimes or do anything negative like that. Depression is almost zero. They do what they want to do, and if anyone has a problem, then it's seen to. People rush to help each other to feel mentally better. If one person is feeling mentally sick, it's felt by the others anyway, because we are all beginning to be really connected mentally, and we can feel each other like we're starting to feel now in this timeline. There's bases in the sky and in the sea, and at this point they are obviously known about and they were never a secret. There's more land than we know about too, and this is used and not secret. There's many secrets that we have in this timeline that are not secret. As we continue to ascend, we are remembering our past lives now, so you're even born with past life memory. So even lifespans are longer, up to maybe 250 years or so. When you do go over and come back, you actually have partial recollection of a previous lifetime, so you don't have to start again. And this causes many to want to continue to reincarnate as a human being, because it's even more exciting at this point, because the humanity is really getting going. It's a very exciting time, and other species are enjoying watching us and almost reminiscing what it was like when their species went through the same blossoming, the same transition. The overall attitude really is of loving and understanding, because when the negative element of society has been shed, the controlling, manipulating, profit-driven, greedy element has been eliminated, all that's left is the default, which is love. And with everyone given the proper support and understanding from the beginning, and the greedy, competitive system, materialistic system has been removed, the consciousness just goes into a state of love and oneness, and we all want to progress together for the betterment of our race. Now, just with regard to media, because there's no more corporations, no profit, no money, there's no interest for the manipulation. So media is disseminated is actually truth, because the drive is here, as I say, the motivation is for the betterment of humanity and the happiness and the expansion, which is very important, and not for the personal gain of the money and manipulation and belonging to certain groups or societies, and having control over thoughts, and also turning each other against ourselves in groups. The divide and rule thing obviously is gone, so we are harmonised. I mean, none of the different groups that fight now, there's none of that. We are one group, and that us and then them are extraterrestrial intelligences. But again, as we understand, we're one with them too. So we unite as a oneness, and the divide and rule is gone, so we stop fighting amongst ourselves, and we grab the needle and point it in one direction as a whole. So we use these stargates to get from place to place, as well as the thought, as well as using ships as well that fold the space-time. There's various ways of getting around. We are in harmony with nature as well, because the earth is our nest, and we understand that it is a consciousness of its own, and everything, as I said, is resource-based, so there's enough resources for everyone if managed properly. And cities they're not grey and concretey like so much. A lot of green has been brought into them. People are now permitted to have dwellings in natural environments more, as long as they don't mess it up. But no one has a desire to do that. Everyone's been brought up in love and understanding, so they wouldn't go and mess up the countryside or anything like that. Everyone's entire attitudes are completely different about everything. There's no selfishness, greed, nothing. It's thinking about humanity and the planet first, and love and joy and fun and everything. So it's a completely different way of thinking for all of us, and we're all very mentally healthy, we're all very physically healthy as a whole. So that's ascension as it should be, without the anchors that are holding us back in this timeline. That is what I see anyway. You might see a different timeline. You might listen to channels that say something different. The reason for that is because we might be seeing different versions of reality, different timelines. That's where I feel I have communication from. I'll continue to receive it and bring it into this reality as a little snapshot of what it could be like there. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I send you much love. So don't forget to click subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, to receive regular spiritual inspiration on your journey through life. Like and share also, because we're raising the mass vibration together. So go now in love and peace.